Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Are you ready to discover what sets the best workplaces apart? We are so proud to introduce Culture from the Heart, our newest show launching in January. We'll be diving into conversations with the CEOs of heart-centered companies, leaders who built cultures that inspire and thrive.
And we're on a mission to find the heart-centered CEOs of America. Join us as we uncover the secrets behind award-winning workplaces and learn how these visionaries lead with purpose.
And you can help. Do you work for a company with a heart-centered CEO? We would love to interview them. You can nominate them now at www.culturefromtheheart.com. Look forward to the show in January, and if you have a CEO that's heart-centered, nominate them today at www.culturefromtheheart.com. Hello, and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
All kinds of things. Always great seeing my dear friend, Darrell Amy. Love this Selling from the Heart community. We're going to have a good time today. I know we are.
We got the top sales producer in the house. You're going to enjoy getting to know our friend, Andrew Barbuto. Larry, it's so fun. I love that, like you said, the community at Selling from the Heart is fantastic. And I always love at the beginning of the show, we just give a shout out to one of our friends out there who is just crushing it in authenticity and just doing everything, being what we talk about here at Selling from the Heart.
Okay, so you got to roll with me on this one. I never thought I'd be giving one of my son's friends a shout out on the Selling from the Heart podcast. But
it's a first, folks.
It's a first for everyone. I've known him as Quinn Leonard, but he goes by Sean Leonard. I know he listens to the podcast. Quinn, though I can't call you Sean, I'm proud of you for all the work you've done over this past year in integrating this. He listens to our podcast every week, Darrell, and he's just been crushing it in sales. I just want to say, Quinn, I'm proud of you. Keep up the great work.
I love it. Awesome, Quinn. Way to go. And this is so cool. And what I love about the audience is we've got a wide variety of people, some who are brand new into the profession of sales, others who've been doing this for decades. And together we're on this pursuit of bringing authenticity and trust right here back to the sales profession we all love. And our guest today is going to help us in that direction. We're thrilled to host Andrew Barbuto. He's a digital media sales leader and author of Top Sales Producer, How to Crush Your Sales Quota. Andrew has impressively scaled revenues from 0 to 250 million in just 8 years at top digital media companies. His new book offers a step-by-step breakdown of the strategies he used to consistently exceed sales quotas and drive significant revenue growth. Today, Andrew's going to share key insights from this book tailored for us here at Selling from the Heart, focusing on how to surpass sales targets and enhance revenue effectively. Whether you're seeking to elevate your sales approach or draw practical tips from a top performer, Andrew's guidance is sure to inspire and propel your sales efforts. Andrew, welcome to the Selling from the Heart studios. It's great to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's always good seeing you. Hey, Andrew, how'd you like that? That was a pretty good intro, Andrew. You get it done,
I
man.
love it. You guys should follow me around everywhere I go.
We just might do it. And congratulations on your new book. We're so excited to dive into this conversation today. And as we get started, Andrew, you know the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers. And that is, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
Yeah. So I think, for me, and I thought about this, I think that what selling from the heart means for me is to truly be empathetic with your customers and prospects, and try to put yourself in their shoes and imagine what you would like if you were on the other side of the table. And that's with everything that you do as a salesperson, is to think about really how can I help support my customers and prospects in any way possible? What would I need if I was in their shoes? And, really thinking about what is best for them. And that all requires empathy. And I think that, when I was actually in school, I took a sales class. And one of the questions that we got was, what is the most important quality that you can have as a salesperson? And my answer was empathy. And it stays that way today because of how important it is it's both an effective sales strategy and the right thing to do is to try to help customers in as many ways as possible and treat them as you would like to be treated.
Hey, this is so good, and I like that you brought up empathy. So I just got to flip this on its head for just a moment. Then I know, Darrell, we're going to dive into a great conversation. Is where does the disconnect occur? If people are looking at us going, hey, I get what you're saying, Andrew, right? I know I need to be more empathetic. I know I have to lean in, but there's something causing me to disconnect. Where do you see that disconnect happening with sellers?
Well, I think that, there, as a salesperson, as an individual contributor, you get pulled and pushed in a lot of different directions. And they don't always necessarily align in the same way. In complex B2B sales, you're dealing with a lot of different people at all times. You're dealing with your upper management and doing what you're being tasked with doing. And that obviously has to do with your sales targets. You're obviously talking to the customer and doing what's best for them. Internally, they have their own agenda. And so I think that at times it could be a challenge for a salesperson to deal with all of the different people that are asking you to do things while also keeping in mind the end customer, which is the most important thing at the end of the day and what's best for them. So balancing the different priorities that you have as a salesperson is something that I think can get in the way of being empathetic. And you see this in meetings with the type of questions that salespeople ask. They're not necessarily always, hey, I'm asking this question to see how I can help you. It's, I'm asking this question because I'm trying to sell you and make my sales quota. So those two things can sometimes butt heads. And I think that's one of the big challenges that you see with salespeople today.
Yeah. Empathy is so critical in that. And this is something that I know everyone listening in. I mean, if we can take one thing away from the beginning of this conversation, it's, how empathetic am I being in all my interactions? Well, Andrew, I got to say, congratulations. You have gifted the world with a brand new book. I know it's a lot of work to put a book together. So congratulations on the launch of Top Sales Producer, How to Crush Your Sales Quota. This book just came out and I'm so excited to get this in the hands of our listeners. You're going to want, if you haven't already, you're going to want to pause and go to Amazon or the bookstore of your choice and grab you a copy. But Andrew, what drove you to put this book together? You've been extremely successful. You've had a banner career. You've done extremely well as a producer. Put a book together is a lot of work. What got into you, man? What's your heart behind this?
Yeah, in hindsight, that's a great question. No one can really prepare you for how much actually goes into it. It's surprising, actually. But why did I do it? I don't regret it because I think that I did put a ton of work into it. But why I did it is because, yes, you're right. I've had a really successful career, but it wasn't always that way. When I first started out in sales, I was really expecting to get some formalized sales training, someone to teach me what to do. And no one ever did. And so I had to learn on my own by reading sales books, by interviewing other salespeople, but a lot of it was learning by doing. And so that obviously led to a lot of mistakes and things that could have been avoided if I had a book like this one, which teaches you exactly what to say and do from day one. And so that's what it is teaching the book. I mean, it's the book I wish I had when I first started in sales. It teaches you step by step everything to do from your first day in sales all the way through closing the deal, with teaching all the best practices that I've learned over the past decade. So I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of salespeople out there that are in the same boat where they don't receive a lot of sales training and therefore they have to learn on their own. I've heard that over and over again in this process. And so what I'm hoping for is that this book can help those salespeople with expediting their ramp up period, avoiding some of the mistakes that I've made while taking advantage of some of the opportunities which have helped me be as successful as I have been.
So I got to speak to this. I just have to throw it out because there's some life lessons in this book. I know there is. So looking back at this, what did you wish if you go back, because there's young sellers who are on this call, that are on the podcast, that are watching this. Speak to those young sellers and say, you know what? If you can do these 3 things, and you can do these 3 things really well right now, this will transform the next 6 to 12 months of your career. What would those 3 things be? Because you probably learned this the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that the 3 things that I'll say the 3 things that I think will have the biggest impact on a new salesperson's career. The first one is that in order to be a top sales producer 2025, you really need to be an expert. You need to be an expert in your field. You need to be an expert in your company, your offerings, and your clients and prospects companies. And so what that entails is to do a lot of research continuously, updating yourself on industry trends, taking webinars, being able to put yourself in your prospects and clients' shoes is so critical. The other thing that you really need to be an expert on is something that I wish I did when I first started, which was the financials. Actually understanding what it takes to run a business, because that's so important as a salesperson to understand how you're going to help improve your prospects and customers' businesses. So that would be the first thing. I don't know if you want me to go through all 3 or if you want to dissect them individually.
Well, I want to pause on this one because I
saw Darrell clapping his hand.
I know.
saw his eyes light up.
If you're watching on YouTube, and by the way, if you're not watching on YouTube, you got to go to Selling from the Heart on YouTube and subscribe. It's so much more fun to watch this show than even to listen to it. But I remember, Andrew, years ago, I had the opportunity to go in and build a sales training program for a Fortune 100 company. And in this program, I knew that as salespeople, we struggle with reading financials. And I don't know, I think a lot of salespeople, if you went to business school, you kind of slept through a couple semesters of accounting and somehow made it out of that, but no one ever. So anyhow, as part of the sales training, I put together a 30-minute segment where we taught people how to read a P&L statement and a balance sheet. And I remember the training and development team in that organization said, "Hey, Darrell, our people already know how to do this. We don't need that." And I'm saying, just trust me. And of course, we run through the pilots in Europe and in the United States. And then boom, the number one piece of feedback, that training was great, but that thing you did teaching us how to read a P&L and balance sheet someone finally explained it to us in a way that we can understand. And I just want to massively applaud you and put a highlighter on what you're saying here, because I think as sales professionals, especially in B2B, we say, "Oh, we can help you reduce your expenses." Well, what does that mean? Where does that land on the P&L? Where does that land on the balance sheet? How does that impact cash flow and DSO and all these things? We need to know. And so hats off to you on that. So number 1, you got to do your homework, get to know the finances. What's number 2 in this list of 3 things?
So this is something that I knew going into it, but it's different to know it and to actually do it in practice, which is sales is really about listening, not speaking, right? And so I think that a lot of what I see pretty often, because I also meet with salespeople and especially new sales reps who see this, is they go into meetings with a memorized pitch and they know what they want to say, and they end up starting the meeting by giving that pitch without even really understanding whether any of it is relevant to the person they're speaking to. And I actually learned this by meeting with sales reps before going into the actual role. A lot of people were reaching out to me all the time. So I wanted to see what I thought worked, what didn't work. And so I set up time with a lot of sales reps before actually going into it. And what stuck out to me was that the best meetings that I entered into were the ones that I spoke the most, not them. The ones I was trying to get through those meetings just by not really saying anything, just observing, right? And the best sales reps did not allow me to get through that without giving my input. And that really taught me that, like, when a productive sales meeting, you're not the one who's speaking most of the time. It's your prospect is the one who should be talking, I think roughly 70% of the time. So that's something, and also being present and actually listen actively. That has everything to do with empathy, like we started this call talking about. But would be number 2, which is that selling is about listening, not speaking.
Hey, you know what I like about that? And then we'll hit number 3 in a second. There's a word you used, and if salespeople can just double down on this word that Andrew used, and it's presence. It's hard to listen if you're not present, which means you got to truly be listening. You can't just listen long enough, and as you're listening, you're conjuring up all the things that you're going to say. You got to truly listen, and the only way to do that is just be present. Don't think about anything. I always say, let the conversation go where the conversation goes. That's really active listening. It's about being present. So I'm glad you brought it up. So now what's number 3?
Number 3. So number 3 is that you're going to need to follow up a lot. It takes an average of 7 touch points before you actually get a response from a cold prospect. Now, that's not because they're not interested or they're not qualified. It's because they're busy. Everyone's so busy, right? And I would throw in a bonus, which is that more than 50% of whether you're going to be successful in any individual deal has more to do with who you're talking to than anything that you say or do. So talking to the right people at the right time, putting in an extra effort to find those people that you can help, it is really what is going to set you up for success on every conversation. Because you could be the best salesperson in the world. You could have an incredible, presentation prepared. And if the person you're speaking to either doesn't have a need or doesn't have the ability to buy from you, well, it won't matter. And you could be, at the same time, you could be a very inexperienced salesperson going to a meeting. And if you're speaking to the right person, they will take it from there. If they have a need for what you're offering. And I've learned that from being in several meetings where I felt incredible going into it. And I felt like the meeting went really well and it never went anywhere. At the same time, the opposite has happened before where I joined a meeting and I was like, oh, this, I really didn't say much and it didn't seem like this was going to go anywhere. And it led to a deal. So it's really about who you're talking to.
Going back to that follow-up just reminds me of a conversation we had a few weeks ago with her friend Connie Whitman. And she was talking, about how much more compared to, back in the 1960s when Larry started selling.
I knew you were going to go there.
Follow up very much. But, obviously now the number of touch points you need are a lot more. But I thought what Connie brought up was really powerful in that, compared to 20, 30 years ago, the way we follow up, it's so much easier now. We send a social message, we send a text, we send an email. It takes, 30 seconds to create a follow-up touch point. It's not like you have to drive across town or put something in a fax machine. And so part of me, when we were talking, I was reflecting after that conversation with Connie, it was like, we got to stop whining about how many follow-up times it takes and just do it. And I think that's so powerful. What else? What's your favorite part of this book? I always love to ask this, especially you put a lot of work in. And once again, I hope everybody, if you haven't hit pause right now and gone out, grab your copy of Top Sales Producer, How to Crush Your Sales Quota. Get the book, leave Andrew a review. You've already heard about it here on the podcast. You're already going to want to say great things about the book. What's your favorite chapter? The one you think folks are going to just really enjoy the most and get the most out of?
Yeah. So just a quick point on what you just said about it being easier and more efficient to reach out than ever before. And I agree with you 100%. One thing that I would say that people don't do enough of is a lot of times people reach out and they follow up. But again, it's them thinking about themselves, following up to try to get a proposal in and not following up with value to say, how can I help you? Before I follow up with any prospect, I think about what are the ways I can help this person? And then I start my email with value. So whether that be research, case studies, an article that might be valuable to them, that's how I start every touch point. And then if there's something that I'm asking for, I will include it. But I try to think about the fact that my job is to help people. And so that means helping regardless of whether there's any money involved or not. That's one of the things I think separates myself from other salespeople is I'm thinking about helping all the time, regardless about whether there's money or involved or not. But I think that it's a really important point that yes, you can do it very easily now, but not enough people include value, which makes that much more valuable as a reach out as opposed to just checking in.
Oh, here. I agree with that 100%. 100%. And that goes back to the education part, right? Do you actually have something to say that's valuable to the buyer?
Hey, just really quick, because I like what Andrew said, and then but you got to give us a framework. Our Selling from the Heart listeners, they love frameworks and all that. Mm-hmm. So really simple. If you were reaching back out to Darrell, just in a quick, and Andrew, I know I'm throwing you on the spot, but I know Andrew can handle this, is just get right. And you can make up, the beginning part of this I was reading and such, but what's the framework of that value-centric email look like?
Yeah. So I'll give you the framework of how to even conduct it. Let's say me and Darrell had conversations in the past. I'm trying to sell something to you. What I would do is I would first check my CRM system, which I house all of my notes from all of my meetings immediately after that meeting. So that way I can then reference that later on. First, start by checking out the notes from the previous meeting that we went into. Then based on that, the notes that I'm taking is what do they find value in? What are the ways I felt I could help them? And then use that information to think about, okay, well, what would be most valuable to Darrell based on our conversation? And I will look at our internal resources, and I'll also look for online articles that I think would be most valuable to Darrell. I'll take a look, perhaps I'll take a look at his LinkedIn, I'll look at the website, and I will then start my email and say, hey, Darrell, hope you're having a great week, hope you had a great weekend. I found this article that I think you'll find valuable based on our conversation, or I found this case study that I think you'll find valuable. I'll tie that to a broader trend in the marketplace and say, we're helping similar people accomplish this goal. I think we'll be able to help you do the same thing. Do you have some time to catch up and hear more about how we might be able to help you in the same way?
Perfect. I love the tie back, as we were discussing ... And, what's beautiful about that is not only is it relevant, it also signals that you are paying attention. It's not just some, pre-canned marketing mush email. It's actually specific and it demonstrates that not only do you have something to say, but you actually listened and you're going to be someone that follows through. Okay, favorite chapter. What's the favorite chapter that people are absolutely going to love and they're already talking about it?
So my favorite chapter is actually, my book is broken down into 10 steps, 10 key steps, starting from day one through end of the deal. And my favorite chapter is really the heart of the book, which is a two-parter. And it's steps 5 and 6, or chapters 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. What it is how to conduct an effective sales meeting. And the more I thought about the way I conduct sales meetings, the more I realized that I think of them less as a sales meeting and more of a doctor's visit. And so I broke this step down into 2 parts. The first part is the diagnosis, and the second part is the prescription. And what I mean by that is at the beginning of any first meeting, your job is to find out, how can I help this person? What are their challenges? What are their goals? And really learning about, just like a doctor, what are they ailing? Like, what are they ailing with? What are some of their challenges they're dealing with? If you think about the way that a doctor conducts their visits, right? You go in there with a challenge, with a problem that you're having. They ask you questions to find out if they can figure out what it might be. Based on that, they will then prescribe you something to help with that challenge. I think sales meetings should be looked at in the same way. You meet with a potential customer. First, before you present your solution, you need to first understand what they're dealing with, what are their challenges, what are their goals, and determine how you can best help. So chapter 5 is all about the diagnosis, asking the right questions, getting them to open up, digging deeper to find out, what is important enough to make a change. And then chapter 6 is how to effectively present your solution in a way that will be compelling. And it always ties back to what they tell you. So that's the kind of a rule that I have when I'm in meetings, which is I always say, use their words. So if you tell me, I'm digging into your business and you say, we're really looking to grow next year because we want to be able to expand and hire more people, or we had a rough year the year before and we lost some of our customers or we lost some of our employees, then before I present my solution, I'll set it up with exactly just reiterating that. Hey, Darrell, I know that you mentioned that you guys are looking to grow next year because you're looking to expand. Our solution has helped similar customers expand 20%, and they've been able to hire because of X, Y, and Z. Do you feel like that might have the same effect on you?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I got to go. This is good stuff. And some might say there's some that are going to be listening and go, hey, Andrew, I already get some of this, right? I'm going to tell you this. A lot of people skip over what Andrew just said. So This might be a time to pause the brakes. I got to tie back to chapter 5, because I think that's brilliant, because there's all kinds of reasons why deals get clogged in the pipeline. I'll submit a vast majority of deals that get clogged in pipeline have to do with they've skipped around chapter 5 of your book, and they've not, right? They've asked a couple of questions, got some answers, and now they think they have the answer solved.
Totally.
But right, we all know that great questions and great discovery leads to, monumental returns on the backside of this. But if you skip, I'm glad that you brought this up as one of your favorite chapters. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Totally. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things I think new salespeople struggle with, because I struggled with myself, where you're so excited to present your solution, right? Like salespeople think that the selling part is presenting it in a very compelling way and sounding really professional. But the truth is that the reason why deals often get stalled is because they don't uncover the number one thing, that the prospect is going to make a change regardless of whether it's with you or somebody else. And they may not know what that is going into the meeting, but you need to find out by asking those questions and do a full diagnosis, really not just surface level stuff. It's not enough that they tell you they have a problem that you have a solution for. You need to make sure that it's their number one problem. You need to make sure that's something that's worth making a change for. Because in B2B sales, your number one competition is the status quo. So they're not going to go through all the trouble to make a change to your solution unless it's something that's pivotal to their business, and they're likely going to make a change regardless of whether it's with you or somebody else.
Here.
Darrell smiling.
Could not agree more. Yeah, this is so good. I can't wait for folks to get their hands on this book. We'll put the link in the show notes, but I know our folks are asking the question that I'm asking is, how can we get more Andrew Barbuto in our lives?
Yeah, so you go to my website, andrewbarbuto.com. I have 2 awesome scripts that I use. One is a meeting hack of how I secure next steps in meetings within 5 minutes.
Cool.
It's something that I start my meetings with and I end my meetings with, and it almost always results in a next step, which is also really important. And then my cold outreach approach. Also my YouTube channel at Andrew Barbuto. I put out weekly B2B sales tips. So you can either check out that, my LinkedIn, or my YouTube.
Wonderful.
Oh, this is good stuff. Hey, thank you for sharing your time with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really like this.
Awesome. What a great conversation. And I love the approach here. So aligned with selling from the heart, because you've got to bring, as you said, in selling in a post-trust world with the trust formula, Larry, you've got to bring authentic relationship, and you better bring meaningful value as well. And this conversation, meaningful value was woven through just about everything Andrew advised us to do.
Yeah. And what I really like about this is when you do this, and Andrew just nailed it, is this signals that you actually know something. That it's not just about your product and it's not about your company, but I truly have some insights that I can bring to your business that could truly help. That's what I really like about this is, and I've gotten a chance to get to know Andrew over the course of this past year. What I really like is this is coming through a salesperson's lens, because he's out in the trenches dealing with it. That's what I loved about this conversation.
Yeah. So you want to grab your copy of Top Sales Producer. Let's cheer Andrew on. It's a lot of work to put a book together, and it's so cool to have a book like this. I think it's a massive gift. Make sure to go to his website, grab those bonus items. And while you're at it, stop by our YouTube page. We got some good things going on there. There are over 700 videos there now, last time I looked, and they're all aimed at helping you up your game in terms of your level of success and fulfillment in this role of sales, the profession that we are all a part of and all love. And Larry, we got great stuff coming on throughout the winter and on into the spring. You're going to want to stay tuned to Selling from the Heart.
Absolutely. It's our commitment. It's my commitment. It's Darrell's commitment. We're going to bring fresh voices, new ideas, new insights. Maybe people you've never heard of before. Simple reason is we want to introduce our network, our community to you, because we're all in this together. We're waving the flag around all of this, but this happens because of everyone out there.
That's right. Thank you to everybody who's leaving reviews on the podcast and sharing this with your friends. Till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, act like a top sales producer, and most of all,
sell from the heart.